Russia launched a new air attack on Ukraine's capital Kyiv on Thursday. Reports say that 3 people have been killed, including 2 children. Meanwhile, Russia says that it's evacuating hundreds of children due to the intensifying shelling in the Belgorod region. The Kremlin has said that the situation in the border area is alarming. US President Joe Biden has approved a new military aid package for Ukraine. It's worth $300 million. This includes additional drones and other weapons. The Biden administration has also said it has given a warning to Ukraine. It says that US-made weapons should not be used to carry out attacks inside Russian territory.
In response, the United States is going to continue to support Ukraine. Give them things that they need.
Some concerning news coming in from Sudan's capital, Khartoum. At least 60 infants, toddlers and older children have been killed over the past 6 weeks in an orphanage. At least 26 children died over the weekend. Most of the children died due to a lack of food and from fever. A volunteer at the orphanage has called the situation catastrophic. This comes as fighting between warring factions has led to a complete upheaval in Sudan. Meanwhile, the Sudanese armed forces have suspended ceasefire talks with the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group. This comes despite the two sides earlier agreeing to extend the truce deal for 5 days. Clashes between the two sides continue in Khartoum, North Kordofan and the Darfur regions. According to the UN nuclear watchdog, Iran's estimated stockpile of enriched uranium has increased to 23 times the set limit. The International Atomic Energy Agency has filed a report. It's confidential but was accessed by media outlets. It reportedly mentions that Iran's total enriched uranium stockpile is estimated to be over 4,000 kilograms as of May 13th. The limit set in 2015 was about 200 kilograms. India and China held in-person talks on border issues in New Delhi on Wednesday. The border that the two countries share is called the Line of Actual Control, or the LAC. The two sides discussed proposals for disengagement in the remaining friction points in a quote-unquote frank and open manner. India's Ministry of External Affairs has said that the restoration of peace and tranquility will create conditions for the normalization of bilateral ties. Another round of talks have been scheduled for later. Nepal's Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal or Prachanda is in India's capital New Delhi for a 4-day visit. He laid a wreath at the Rajghat Memorial to pay tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. He met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two leaders focused on bilateral relations between India and Nepal. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is set to pay an official visit to South Africa and Namibia. Jaishankar will head to South Africa today to participate in the BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting in Cape Town. He'll also hold a bilateral meeting with his South African counterpart, Naledi Pandor. In Namibia, Jaishankar will co-chair the inaugural Joint Commission meeting. North Korea has promised more satellite launches in the future. This is according to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong. This comes a day after Pyongyang's latest alleged spy satellite launch failed. Experts say that the satellite aimed to track the military forces of other countries in real time. Canada has announced that health warnings will be printed on each individual cigarette. These messages include tobacco smoke harms children and cigarettes are a cause of leukemia. The message will be printed in both English and French. With this move, Canada will become the first country to put health warnings on each cigarette. The country aims to reduce tobacco consumption to less than 5% by 2035. scientists at NASA held their first ever public meeting on unidentified flying objects or UFOs. This is formally referred to as Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon or UAPs. The scientists called for a more rigorous approach to clarify the origin of hundreds of mysterious sightings. The panel says that authorities have examined around 800 reports of UFO sightings collected over decades. Authorities in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia are appealing for additional help to contain wildfires. They're asking Canada's central government for additional firefighters. Meanwhile, 14 fires continue to burn through Nova Scotia. At least 16,000 people have been forced to leave their homes. Residents in the US state of Massachusetts saw the effects of Canada's Nova Scotia wildfires. Smoke from the wildfires created an uneasy haze for the Americans. The Nova Scotia fires are expected to cause poor air quality across hundreds of kilometers of America's east coast. Typhoon Mawar is moving towards Taiwan and Japan. Earlier in May, the storm had wrecked the US territory of Guam in the Pacific Ocean. Despite losing some ferocity, it lashed Taiwan's eastern coast with gushing winds and rough seas. The typhoon is now slowly moving towards southern Japan. It's expected to make landfall by Friday. A coalition of NGOs demanded French oil giant Total Energies suspend their hydrocarbon projects worldwide. The demands come after a French court ordered the company to comply with the standards outlined in the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. Activists protested outside the city halls in Paris and New York against the practices of the oil company. Climate activists stepped up protests against US Democratic Party lawmakers Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin. They've been instrumental in the setting up of the Mountain Valley Pipeline. The project will spread across the states of Virginia and West Virginia. Demonstrators alleged that the politicians had taken donations from oil companies to back the project. The pipeline project is worth over $6 billion. It passes across 1,000 lakes and wetlands. Emissions related to the project will be equal to at least 26 coal plants. Chile's state-owned Codelco Copper Company has been forced to shut down its smelter in the Venantas region after 6 decades of operation. This comes after hundreds of people residing near the smelters suffered sulfur dioxide poisoning. Smelting operations have had a grim impact on the region's environment. It's been dubbed a quote-unquote Chile's Chernobyl. The Codelco Copper Company is the world's top producer of the metal. US President Joe Biden said he will boost America's ability to tackle weather-related disasters. He held a meeting with the Federal Emergency and Response Team regarding the country's disaster relief abilities. This comes after the southern parts of the country were battered by a wave of tornadoes earlier in the year. Beekeepers in the UAE have genetically modified queen bees. The genetic manipulation allows the queen bees to survive severe heat in the country amid rising temperatures. The beekeepers will also place bee colonies under large canopies to protect them from the heat. Climate change and high temperatures have caused a dramatic fall in bee numbers around the world. Another new study has found that human activity is pushing the Earth towards a global environmental crisis. Scientists say that 7 out of 8 indicators of good planetary health are in the red. The researchers warn that we've reached the tipping point. They added that we could now see climate-related disasters at a global scale. The US House of Representatives passed a bill to raise the country's debt ceiling. Both Republicans and Democrats voted to pass the bill. The legislation will now be sent for the US Senate's approval. The Senate must enact the measure by Monday to avert a catastrophic default. The US Treasury Department has warned that the country will run out of funds by June 5th. Taiwan and the US will sign a deal under a new trade talks framework. The trade initiative covers areas like customs and border procedures, regulatory practices, and small businesses. Reports say that the pact will open Taiwan to more US exports. This will increase the self-governed island's ability to resist economic coercion from mainland China. Beijing claims Taipei as its own territory. However, the island rejects China's claims. Elon Musk has become the world's richest person yet again. The Tesla CEO surpassed luxury tycoon Bernard Arnault to reclaim the position. Arnault is the chief executive officer of the French fashion house Louis Vuitton. This week, Arnault's wealth reportedly slid after a drop in Louis Vuitton's stock price. Reports say that Musk and Arnault have been neck to neck for the top spot this year. According to reports, 150 to 200 Credit Suisse employees are resigning daily. The bankers are worried about their future and are seeking safer employment at competitors. This is after UBS took over Credit Suisse earlier this year in a merger arranged by the Swiss government. US-based retail chain Walmart says that it has not made any changes to its LGBTQ+ merchandise lineup. This comes after rival Target pulled some of its Pride products. Last week, Target removed some merchandise, saying that the products had led to quote-unquote volatile circumstances. It reported cases where the company received bomb threats from some customers for keeping the products in its stores. US-based car maker Ford has recalled over 140,000 Lincoln SUVs in the US. This is over risks of fire under the vehicle's hood. Ford said that it was aware of at least 19 cases of under-hood fires, with at least 7 since December. The automaker has also advised the owners to park the vehicle outdoors and away from structures. Some Amazon employees in the American city of Seattle have staged a walkout protest. More than 100 people gathered around Amazon Seattle headquarters. They were protesting against the company's layoffs and return-to-office policies. In recent months, Amazon has announced some 27,000 job cuts. Amazon's Ring unit has agreed to pay nearly $6 million to settle spying charges. Amazon's Ring unit makes house accessories such as alarm security systems, indoor and outdoor cameras, and video doorbells. The US antitrust regulator accused Amazon's Ring doorbell camera of illegally spying on users. A former employee at the unit also allegedly spied on female customers for months through bedroom and bathroom cameras. Meta says it will remove news content from its platforms in the US state of California. This comes over a legislation passed by the state government. The proposed act would require online platforms to pay a journalism usage fee. This means that companies have to pay news providers whose work appears on their platforms. Australia says it's planning to regulate the artificial intelligence sector. This could include a potential ban on deepfakes. Deepfakes are a realistic projection of false content. Earlier this week, top AI executives also raised concerns over the risk of AI. They equated the risks to that of pandemics or a nuclear war. Moving on to sports now. In cricket, Sri Lanka will host Afghanistan for a one-day international match on Friday. This will be the first game in a 3-match series. Both teams have announced 16-member squads. The series will prepare both teams for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers, which begin on the 19th of June. In football, Sevilla beat AS Roma 4-1 on penalties to clinch their 7th Europa League title. The match was a heated affair and the referee had to dish out 14 yellow cards. The game went to penalties after a 1-1 draw. Sevilla punished Roma in the penalty shootout with Gonzalo Montiel firing home the winning spot kick. Sevilla keeper Yassine Bounou was the hero of the match. He made 2 spectacular saves in the shootout. This was the first time that Roma manager Jose Mourinho suffered a loss at a European League final. Meanwhile, Sevilla and Roma fans also battled it out in the stadium premises. At least 9 football fans were arrested by the Hungarian police after fighting broke out. Roma supporters flung chairs, bottles and flares at Sevilla fans. Several people were injured in the clashes. The Hungarian police have opened a criminal investigation into the assault. Paris Saint-Germain defender Achraf Hakimi wants to leave the team. The Moroccan defender is allegedly unhappy with the culture at PSG. He has indicated a return to his former team, Real Madrid. Reports suggest that PSG will be willing to release Hakimi if Madrid come up with an offer. In tennis, Novak Djokovic reached the 3rd round at the French Open. Djokovic beat his Hungarian opponent 7-6, 6-0, 6-3. He struggled to get his footing in the first round, but once he found his rhythm, Djokovic completely dominated the clay court. Top-seeded Carlos Alcaraz cruised into the 3rd round at the French Open as well. The Spaniard beat Japan's Taro Daniel comfortably with a 6-1, 6-1, 6-2 win. Alcaraz looks determined to defend his Roland Garros title. Meanwhile, Frenchman Gail Murphy had to retire from the French Open. Murphy suffered an injury to his left wrist after winning the 2nd round at the tournament. The 36-year-old Frenchman was one of the country's top choices to clinch the Roland Garros this year. Second seed Aryna Sabalenka powered her way into the 3rd round at the French Open. Sabalenka beat fellow Belarusian Irina Shimanovic 7-5, 6-2. She's determined to continue her impressive form at Roland Garros. If she clinches the title, she will unseat Poland's Iga Świątek from the world number 1 rank. The Badminton World Federation will allow Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete as neutrals. The body had earlier banned athletes from the 2 countries in March 2022. This was after Russia invaded Ukraine. However, the ban has now been overturned. Russian and Belarusian shuttlers will compete as neutrals to qualify for the Badminton World Championships and the Paris Olympics. A Cuban team of all-female umpires will call the shots at the country's National Baseball Championships. The women umpires are breaking all barriers in a sport which has been dominated by men. This comes after Cuba allowed women to participate as umpires across all sports. The barrier was first broken in December 2022 when women referees judged Cuba's national boxing games. In the world of entertainment, actor Benedict Cumberbatch's former chef who broke into his house in North London has been arrested. Jack Bissell allegedly broke into the house through the front gate while shouting, "I know you've moved here, I hope it burns down." Cumberbatch's wife Sophie Hunter and their 3 children were reportedly at home at the time of the incident. Filmmaker Quentin Tarantino has made it clear that he's not a fan of films releasing on streaming platforms. He suggested that films should be released in theaters first for the proper theatrical experience. He made the statement while he was speaking to reporters at the Cannes Film Festival. Tarantino also threw some light on his retirement plans. The 60-year-old filmmaker said that he likes the idea of going out on top. Rap icon Tupac Shakur will be honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The late rapper's sister will accept the honor on his behalf on June 7th. The Hollywood Walk of Fame producer praised Tupac Shakur, calling him a poet and a revolutionary. The rapper was shot dead in 1995 in Las Vegas when he was just 25 years old. The Writers Guild of America, or WGA, and other Hollywood unions have called on Hollywood studios to reach a fair contract with the Directors Guild of America. According to the unions, such a contract would benefit every worker in the industry. The WGA has been on strike for 30 days. A live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon is set for a theatrical release in 2025. Filming is set to begin in Los Angeles this year. The cast includes 15-year-old Mason Thames and 18-year-old Nico Parker. Thames is known for his role in the 2022 horror film The Black Phone. Parker has previously starred in a 2019 film Dumbo. American actor Amber Heard has responded to rumors about her exit from Hollywood. Heard said that she has no plans to quit acting. She cleared the air while she was stopped by paparazzi in Spain's Madrid. Amber Heard has famously starred in Aquaman. Another part of the franchise, called Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, is set for a 2023 release. American rapper Megan Thee Stallion is taking a break from music to focus on her mental health. She said in an interview, and I quote, "The music and entertainment industry can be a grind. It's important to take time off and avoid burning out." She added that life is all about balance. The rapper is taking a break less than a year after her album Traumazine released. American authorities have decided not to go forward with charges against actor Armie Hammer due to a lack of evidence. Hammer was accused of sexual assault and emotional abuse by his former girlfriend in March 2021. In January 2021, several women accused Hammer of misconduct. Hammer had denied these allegations. American actor Danny Masterson has been found guilty of raping 2 women in the early 2000s. However, in a split verdict, the jury couldn't reach a decision on another sexual assault case. 3 women had accused the actor of sexual assault in incidents that took place between 2001 and 2003. Masterson faces 30 years in prison. Mexican actor Sergio Calderon has died at the age of 77. He was best known for his roles in films The In-Laws, Men in Black, and Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End. Calderon's family said that the actor died in a Los Angeles hospital due to natural causes.